The signs are all around you guys. The signs are all around you. They're embedded in the nature of this reality. They're embedded in everything that you see, everything that you interpret, everything that you filter through your mind and project into this reality. And then your signs also exist outside of the mind too. But it's the mind that needs to reconcile this stuff. It's the mind that recognizes it. And it's like, how do you see these signs? How do I know if it's a sign? How do I why is God communicating to me through these signs? Where are these signs taking me? What's the purpose of them, right? Like we always wonder these things. And it's like this stuff just kind of becomes apparent to you after a while. But when you're on this path and you're not fully there, you haven't reached the final clarity, as they call it, or whatever I call it. Um, God's sending you signs to get you on the path, if you're off the path, to get you back on the path. And God is, once you're on the path, sending you more signs to the next stage. It's like little steps, little, like, how like you'll see like this pond or like this lake, this stream, and it has like these little concrete like steps, that are in there, spaced like perfectly apart for you to step on to get across to the other side. That's what these signs are. They're little steps to get you from one moment till however long the next sign comes along and kind of course corrects you, redirects you, you know? And the thing that happens when you've reached this clarity and you see the truth for what it is, you'll see that everything literally is a sign. And what you personally draw meaning from is what is assigned to you. And you'll see that there's no such thing as a coincidence. There's no such thing as luck. It is all meticulously designed this way. So your signs can be anything, guys. Your signs can be a mental construct that you're projecting. It can be a whole layer of things that you've learned. Like, let's use some examples, right? I think that's easy. Numerology is a sign, right? You can find signs in numbers, associations that you personally make. And what you're going to notice is that how you personally interpret things, the signs are embedded that way. And there's a collective sign, there's a collective interpretation, and then it drills down into your own personal meaning and what you assign to these signs. God knows these things. God knows all these things, and it's sending you these messages because it knows that's how you're going to interpret it. So, oh wow, look at that cloud that I saw out there. It looks just like this. God didn't make it look like a cloud specifically just for a sign for you. It kind of did, but it's also just a cloud. And because you're drawing meaning, oh, that cloud looks like a carrot. And then I thought of this carrot that like reminded me of this meal that I had with my mom. And then it brings like this nostalgic feeling, like that's how these things happen. It's like little connections that your mind makes instantly. It's fleeting, okay? Numerology, astrology, tarot readings, psychic readings, feelings, right? Because like if you're shut off from the external world, then like let's say you're a hermit and there's like you're in this four-wall nothing, let's say you're like in an insane asylum in a padded room because they've just locked you up, you're like, how's God gonna send you signs? You see what I mean? It's very limited, his access. So it's gonna be an internal thing. It might be thoughts, drop in, like downloads, whatever, mental associations that you make. It can be, and what I always say, if you feel off, if you feel like shit, something's off, man. That's the primary sign, guys. That's the number one sign. How do you feel? The physical representation of your intuition. It's always guiding you. It is the compass, okay? So it's like if you are, let's say you're a hermit. I used to be a hermit. I used to be a shut-in, okay? And it's more difficult for God to send you signs when you're inside. Okay, it's easier now with internet and TV and all of these different things, right? You can send it more readily if you're searching and stuff, right? But it's more difficult. It's not as easily accessible as the external world is, okay? And so if you're just shut in all the time, it's almost like you have to seek some kind of inspiration to search for it, and then God's going to send you these signs. But honestly, God's always sending you signs through how you feel. Right? If this moment isn't okay with you and you feel off, something's off, then God's trying to point you back onto that compass path that's directing you to your true north. It's like, I want to feel better. Keep searching for the feeling better. And you know what? Don't get too lost in that, because that can also be illusory, because your mind might say, I don't like this, and then you feel like shit, but that mental mental label that you're making it, you know, this like conflict that your mind is wanting to create, that's also can be an illusion. So I'm going to go into like a bunch of examples and tie all of this stuff together personally so that you guys can see how it worked for me and maybe, you know, find some comfort in it or find some understanding of it, you know, because that's how I see it. And maybe that's how you'll end up seeing it too a little bit, you know. You're never going to see it exactly how I see it because I have my own predispositions, my own filter that I associate things through, right? And so, like, if you're walking outside, okay, as an example, and you see a stranger passes by couple people and they're talking and you overhear a couple sentences and it gives you a piece of information, or it's like it can be fleeting, it can be like, oh, did you see or hear that the thing, and then they're pointing down that way, or it can be a couple words that reminds you of something, and then that teleports you instantly to this other thought, and you're thinking about this other thing. That's a sign, guys. Those people are you. They're a part of your reality. God can literally use anything. Just like the devil, I say, is the physical, and the devil can only influence you through the physical experiences and all of these constructs that we've built up, all of this physical illusory stuff. God can also obviously use these things too, right? It's not like he's like, oh, I'm only going to leave it for the devil. God is sending you signs and beauty and synchronicities all the time through the physical too, right? And you get to a place where it's like you kind of let go of the signs too. You just naturally are the sign yourself. But God's like, hey, I'm going to put these two people, and as you're walking by, it's going to trigger a thought, and then that thought's going to take you on this other thing. And now that little mini trajectory switch, you go down that path. You see what I'm saying? It could be something as simple as that. It could be something very serious. It could be like a traumatic event. That's a sign, guys. Like getting arrested. Like I was arrested. I'm a felon. You know what I mean? Because I fucked up, right? But it was also like I was out of balance and I was doing stupid shit. You know. So but I had to go through that turmoil. I had to go through that trauma. I had to go through all of that stuff to come into my being. Okay. So it was perfect. It wasn't a mistake, you know. It's like it was a mistake at the time, but when you look back on it with hindsight, you're like, oh, it had to happen that way. So how can that possibly be a mistake? It was perfect. So you get arrested, you keep getting into bad shit. Those are signs, guys. Like it's like there's negative signs and there's positive signs, right? And we like to point to the positive signs because they make us feel cool. Oh my God, you'll never believe this amazing coincidence. Oh my God, you'll never believe this amazing synchronicity. You know what I mean? We point to these like positive ones, but the negative ones are also signs trying to course correct you back onto your path. It's like you keep feeling like shit, something's off. You keep doing stupid shit, something's off. You keep getting into trouble, something's off. People around you are coming to you and telling you, hey man, like something's off. Notice these things, guys. God's trying to get through to you. But literally, there's some discernment there too. Literally, don't take everything people are telling you, you know, try to see through the truth of what they're telling you. It's like, does that resonate? Like, am I really being a fuck up right now? Okay, yeah, maybe like I'll meditate and pray on that because I need to find some clarity in what my behavior is. So the numerology is a huge one for me, especially. In 2020, when I was in like the darkest hell, my mom had like reached her wit's end. She's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do to help this kid, you know, like, and I know he's spiritual. So she gets me this like astrology and numerology reading. And I have like this 2 hour long conversation with this woman over the phone. And it was like the turning point of course correcting the trajectory. It was like through that reading, I was like, oh yeah, Darius, like you're on this path, you've forgotten this path, you've been trying to hide yourself. But it still took me 5 years, guys, from there. That was just the beginning. And I had to purge so much stuff to like, it was like this, the initial year or two was just like such an inertia, getting it going, getting it going, getting it going. But I'm tapping into the signs, I'm noticing different stuff again. It's slowly accelerating until it started reaching the tipping point, you know? And magical stuff starts happening after a while. It's all really magical, man, you know? But we just like, we take things for granted. So she like, you know, we go through my numerology and my numerology ends up being a master number. Like, oh, here, Darius, you're super important, you have a master number, so you're going to go through some difficult times, and now so I'm an 11, so I'm a 29 11 2. Okay, the 29 reduces to 11, the 11 reduces to 2, but the 11 is ultimately the core number. Okay, but the interesting thing is that as my spiritual process those past 5 years has evolved, I am associating new meanings to those numbers, and God is using those associations that I'm making all the time to send me little signs, right? So the numbers 2 and 9, especially when they're together, have become a great significance to me. If I notice that, God's like saying, like, notice this. Or God can also use signs just to fuck with you a little bit, guys. He wants to have fun with you. He wants you to be like, oh, and like you smirk at it because it's like, oh, God's pointing attention to this thing. It's so cute, you know? God can be anything. God is flowing. God can be erotic. God can be funny. God can be profane. God can be literally anything, guys. And he's trying to show you that. She's trying to show you that all the time. But because you have boxed in these ideas of what God is going to look like, you can't possibly associate the everythingness of what it is through that synchronicity that it's trying to show you. So I have the 2-9 and I have the 11, okay? And then my numerology, like deeper embedded meanings, right? Like then it became like the 129 and the 291 and the 219, you know, and like I start getting all these different variations of all of these like numbers, and they're all pointing in different ways to different things. So God's like broadening the different types of numbers that that can be used, and like the sequences of them to assign different meanings at different times to point me in different directions. It can be bizarre and it sounds insane, I know. But you're going to have your own numbers. You're going to have your own synchronicities too, guys. So there is a power in numerology because God knows, and I've said this in other videos and with astrology, God knows that we're going to look for these things. And so he's going to embed little codes in there for us to try and decode. But also, don't go too far in the extreme of these signs as well, guys. Don't assign too much meaning to it. But if you know through and through, this isn't just a fucking coincidence, this is significant, then don't let anyone dissuade you either. And so, you know, the astrology was important, but the numerology was like the biggest one in getting me to notice some signs in the beginning. And then it started evolving and taking on a whole nother life, right? So I was telling you guys about this, like this story, you know, where like I'm searching for my inspiration a couple of years ago. I'm like, I feel stuck and I'm like at this job that I don't like and all this stuff, right? So, and then I go on the road trip. But before the road trip, that whole year before from 2023 into 2024, I'm noticing in the beginning half of it, 1111 all the time. And it's a very common thing. 1111 is a holy number, okay? I'm noticing it all the time, guys, all the time. And I'm like, oh shit, God's fucking with me. God's like trying to flash this, like, Darius, it's like a 911. Darius, wake up. Wake up. What you're doing right now, no, this isn't what your path is. This isn't what you're meant to finally be doing. This is just a stepping stone. Wake up, bro. And I'm noticing, I'm like, what is it trying to tell me? And I'm trying so hard to figure it out, guys. I don't know. 11:11 every day, it's driving me mad almost. I'm like, 11, what the fuck is this 11:11, man? You know? And at first I'm just casually thinking, oh, God's just trying to say, hey man, I'm here with you. Hey man, don't feel alone. Hey man, I know it might be tough right now, but you'll get through it. And it comforts you a little bit. But it was more important. It was saying, find your inspiration, use that inspiration as the portal into like to catapult you into the next stage of your life. It's the rebirth, man. It's the death in the tarot. It's the rebirth. It's the phoenix. It's the rising from the ashes. It's like time to close off this dead, dying, fucking hell chapter that you've had, Darius, for the past 10, 15, 20 years, and time to step into your like your new amazingness that you are ultimately. And so 11:11. So I'm like, I'm searching for inspiration now. And what is that looking like for me? I'm searching for inspiration. I'm looking at movies, man. I make a list, guys. I made a list. I sat down and I made a list. I cultivate a list of all of my favorite movies, all of the movies that are like the most inspirational to me. And I sit down and I'm watching a one or two every single night for like weeks on end. And that's why I mentioned Groundhog Day. And there's this one that like I watched that ties into like some other signs that I'm going to lead into, right? Because this is really fascinating for me and maybe you'll find it fascinating. So one of the movies was Seabiscuit, right? It's about the horse, and it's like this little horse that, you know, the little horse that could, and it's like fucking amazing movie, right? And at one point, this guy brings out these horseshoes, and he's passing out these horseshoes. And then I feel like inspired in that moment. I'm like, oh man, those horseshoes are really cool. They're like a symbol of good luck, and I'm making this association with it. I should get a horseshoe too. So I drop what I'm doing immediately. I go onto Etsy and I find this fucking horseshoe and I buy it and I put it up in my room. And every time I look at that, I'm making an association. It's like, you know, we get too down the bad rabbit hole of like iconography and idolatry is a bad thing, but it's okay if you can use it to channel as like to make a shrine to use as a place of inspiration. That's fine, guys. I'm never mistaking that that horseshoe, that Jesus icon, that whatever idolatry as God itself. And that's why they're trying to say, no, don't do it at all, because it's a very slippery slope. So I put this horseshoe up. I get like later this like Native American, like the wheel, you know, the red and black and yellow and white one, because I have personal meaning in that too. And I'm starting to like, I get these three Greek Orthodox icons, one of Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God, you know, like the personified God. That's one icon. I get an icon of the Archangel Michael, and then I get an icon of Saint Anthony the Great, the, you know, one of the original like monastics, right? Because my grandfather's name was Anthony, and I was honoring his ancestry through that icon, okay? Because my grandfather also had a huge impact on my life. And I'm finding inspiration through these things. I developed like this ritual prayer stuff that I'm doing every day. And I'm going to these things and I'm like lighting a candle, I'm lighting incense, and I'll go around and I'll like pray and bless each of these inspirational things in my room. And then I'm blessing myself, and I'm trying to cultivate this thing to grow this blessing attitude. I'm trying to tap back into it, guys, because I was so lost. I'm like, I have to search for this inspiration to re-find that old Darius that I knew existed, that I intentionally shut myself off from because it was all too painful and scary. So the Seabiscuit movie, right? And then a couple weeks later, I get this reading done by this amazing psychic chick. Like, she's amazing, okay? She just channels. And so what came up for her was like, and I'm gonna post this reading that I got done, okay, in the comments so you guys can read the full thing and you can see like, it's very powerful. And for me, it had so much truth in it, okay? And it was like through Seabiscuit and through the horseshoe, God was pointing me to the horse. So we can find signs in animals, animal spirits, right? It's whatever you associate with, guys, okay? So for me, and someone's gonna come in and be like, Darius, you said all of this stuff was woo-woo. No, it's a personal thing, guys, okay? So like, these things are true, but don't get too fucking insane and lost with all of this stuff either. You know, and that's why I was saying like ancestors and spirit guides and beings and elementals and all like animal spirits, all these things, they are archetypes of energies that God is trying to use so that you can associate certain things with them so that you can find your path through that. And so she does this incredible reading about the horse. She's like, I'm seeing this horse come up, and it's like representing freedom, and you're meant to be this like shining example, bro. And I knew all of this, guys. I've always known it, but I was always running away from it. I was never seeking it and fulfilling it. And then I put two and two together. I'm like, this can't just be coincidence that I watched this Seabiscuit video, this movie, and I'm very drawn to this horseshoe. And then now she's telling me about the horse. And so like now the horse, for a period of my life, took on a very significant meaning to me, the white horse, man. And even later, when I ended up getting my car, I ended up getting a white Prius. And it's like, that's my fucking white horse, guys. You know, like Westerns, you know, you're riding the horse. We don't have horses anymore, really, guys. I mean, they're out there, but we're not riding horses. We're driving cars. So that white horse is like my white stallion that led me onto this freedom journey, right? The road trip of redemption. It's like, Darius, you're going to be free. Tap back into yourself. Let's go, you know? And it's amazing how it all played out beautifully, and all these signs are like linking together from the past and into this moment and into the future. And like, it's just like so transformative, man. God is embedding these things all the time so that you can derive different meanings from this one same sign all across these different times in your life. It's incredible. So this reading, and then I got more readings from her, and she's going deeper and deeper into stuff, and like that's unlocking stuff more and more. And then I start watching tarot readings on YouTube, and I find some really, really amazing tarot readers that are like, they're not just like, you know, it's not always like, hey, you know, this, your lover, this, and you'll be shocked by when they say this about you. I was going straight to the hardcore spiritual stuff. I didn't give a fuck about like the worldly people, you know, drama shit that like a lot of tarot people do. No, I wanted the core spiritual shit all the time. God, point me on my fucking direction and use this person as a channel to like tap into my like collective and like, you know, let's go. Point this shit out for me. And I'm watching hundreds of YouTube videos, guys, over this 6-month year period. And I still occasionally watch YouTube videos, but I'm not desperately seeking signs in them. It's just like, okay, I'll take some guidance or I might not, you know, whatever. Sometimes it's just for entertainment. Like, hey, what is this person up to? You know, because I have some like personal attachment to them. I like these people because they are guardians. They are chosen ones that have been placed in my path to guide me. We all are guiding each other, guys. I'm a guide for you if you're watching a lot of my videos, am I not? I'm helping you find yourself, am I not? You guys leave comments for me. Are you not guiding me as well? You see what I mean? It's like a symbiotic relationship. We derive meaning from these things. Importance. It is important. But at the same time, it's also not so important. So let's not get too crazy and get lost in it either. Darius, you're fucking delusional right now, bro. You're scaring me with all this sign shit. Oh my God, he believes in astrology. Ah, no. No, guys, it's cool, man. I'm cool. I'm cool. um, so then like, then that whole inspirational period took off, and then like I'm driving on this road trip, you know, like I gave up the work. I took the leap of faith. I go on this road trip, okay? So the numerology is important too, because the 1111's popping up all the time. That's what woke me up, kind of, you know? And then now God's like also 29, 129, 291, right? I already mentioned this stuff, but he's like showing me these things while all these tarot readings and all these like readings that I'm getting done and all these like inspirational movies and music and all these things, they're all embedded in everything. It's like I'm searching for it though. I'm searching for it, guys. I'm looking for signs too, but I'm not obsessively looking. I'm just like waiting for them to appear. And God knows that the more still you become, the more readily this sign will be noticed because you're aware. If I'm too busy on TikTok, I'm not going to notice the signs around me, but I'll notice maybe the sign on TikTok itself. God can use literally anything, guys. You watch a movie and it inspires you, right? I'll use a recent example, right? And it wasn't like inspirational. It was just like, this was one of those fuck you moments from God, like to fuck with me. He's like, hey man, I just want to point out that they're like, haha, you know, this is cute. This is funny. So the other day, and this is like a big popular movie on Netflix right now, it was like trending. Now You See Me is about magicians and shit, right? And I've seen it before a couple times, but I just felt like watching some of it, right? And in the beginning, when they're gathering like the four of these magicians together, this person sends them the card. And the card has 329, right? The date March 29th. And it has the time 444. Okay. Now 329 is the day that I did my first video. I recorded my first video. It was like a big day for me. Right. And then the 444 has another personal significance to me. It's a very important angel number. Okay. So God at that moment was like, hey man, like, hey, maybe when you watch this video 5-10 years ago when it came out, you wouldn't have realized the significance of these little numbers on this card that she's passing up, and now you do, don't you? Isn't that funny? Maybe do a video about signs and how these things are always embedded in what, you know what I mean? And so it's like God's like, hey man, good job on starting your channel. You see, I got your back, man. Like it's starting to like gain some traction. There was no need to worry. Don't ever doubt me, bro. I got you. You know, and that's what I was saying. So I appreciated that and I laughed at it and we had a good time, me and God, and he's my buddy, yo. He's my buddy. Me and God, we shoot this shit, we just chill. We're bros. You know, like me and you guys, we're bros. And if you're a girl, you know, bro, whatever, I don't care. Labels. We're dudettes. Dude and dudettes. So, so like astrology is also very significant, guys. Like if you're wondering about your path and you want to know some stuff that you're predisposed to and what you um vibe with and why you are a certain way, some things vibe with you, some things don't vibe with you. Certain times of the month, certain times of the year may or may not have certain significances on you, right? Your astrology is important too. But and some people go too, like I say, they go too far into the extreme and they use astrology to literally explain every aspect of their lives. And it doesn't work that way, guys. It's just one slice of the pie. It's just one aspect of how God can use literally anything to impact you so that you can find some meaning in what you're doing and to get you from one stage to the next. So another important thing to notice, and like that I've been kind of mentioning a couple times, is like even when there are no signs, there's still signs. Because the ultimate sign is your own internal state of being, your own intuition, your own feelings, your own stuff. And you're gonna get signs through your thoughts, man. You could just be sitting in your room, like doing whatever. And if some thought, like they call them intrusive thoughts, but the intrusive thoughts that they're talking about are like fearful ones most of the time, right? But you can get this intrusive inspirational thought too. And it's like God literally implanting a download in you saying, hey man, notice this, it's important. And then that's up to you to decode why it's important and its significance. Maybe you wondering about what that significance of that one or two thoughts was is what gets you onto a different trajectory, and you have no idea until you look back on it and you notice how it all linked up together. But where I'm at now, I am walking through life. Let's say I'm walking on a trail, literally how the next present moment is unfolding in front of me. In each moment, okay, in each moment is a sign. This reality is a sign, guys. That's where I'm at now. It takes on a whole new significance. Those old different things that I used to derive meaning from, the numbers that I was talking about, and like the different inspirational stuff, yes, that's all still important, but it is very, very, very far in the background compared to this present moment and what is literally happening in front of me as a sign. And your words are signs too. I can implant signs in you guys. I can implant prophecies and messages in you, and then they can come to fruition or not. And the more aligned with truth you are, the more probability that they're going to happen. There's this time where like Jesus is going back into Jerusalem, or I don't remember. Maybe I'm pretty sure that's when it was. Like they're going to Jerusalem or they're going somewhere, and he doesn't know, but he knows. And I'll tell you why. He doesn't know that this thing that he's about to say is really true because he hasn't seen it or there, but he just knows that the words that he's saying are going to manifest that reality in that moment so that when that person goes, they'll see what he's talking about. So they're walking and he's like, tell somebody, go to this like street or road or over here, whatever, and look for this thing, like this like table or like I don't remember exactly what it was. He's like, look for this thing, and like you'll find that thing, and then you'll use it for whatever. Like so, it's like he doesn't know that there's this thing there, guys, but he's saying when you go there, you're gonna see it because it's gonna be created out of thin air. Or God implanted an idea in him that he just had a feeling and he could touch it almost, guys. It was next to him, but it really wasn't. It's all very malleable. That's how powerful we are, guys, when we're so embedded in the truth. And then all these people that are around him are believing everything that is coming out of his mouth is literally true, and that he can manifest so powerfully that they are also co-creating that reality with him. So the more people that are tapping into him, the more people that are buying into him, the more that external consciousness is like expanding and everyone's like, oh my God, Jesus, 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 right? And then literally more power flows through him. He's almost channeling everyone's collective energy through him. It's kind of like Moses parting the Red Sea. He goes up to the Red Sea and he's like, oh my God, we're about to die. There's thousands of people. And they're like looking to him, and he collectively uses all of their energy to part the sea, man. It's like they're all participating in that event, and he's just the conduit that parts the sea. And it may or may not have happened that way, but it's just a story explaining and looking at that. So the signs are there, guys. Whether you guys want to ignore them or not, it's up to you. People appearing to you on your path, they are a sign. Events happening in your life, your feelings, they're a sign. Numbers, thoughts, movies, shows, certain clips of things that are memes to you, it can be anything, guys. They're signs, all of it. If you're inside all the time, you're a hermit, you don't go out much, God's going to try and send signs to you while you're inside. But God has way more stuff available if you're outside to use. You walk around and like there's all these people and there's all these things and there's the sky and the birds and all these things can be used as signs, guys. Oh my God, birds are messengers all the time, guys. Birds are fucking with me. Birds are fucking with me. It's not like, like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds Are Coming. No, it's just like I'll see a couple birds here, and then the way they take off and the way they go, it means a certain thing. It's just, guys, I can't explain all of it. But when you guys start seeing it, you won't even need me to explain it because you'll just know what I mean by all of it. And a lot of you already know this shit, But a lot of people are wondering, what about these signs? What are these signs? I thought I'd do this video. Anyway, blessings to you all. If you have any questions, and like I said in one of my other videos, I'm open for Zoom calls if you guys need some advice. So shoot me an email. All right, take care.